Imagine you were walking through the streets of Strasbourg in July 1518. It is a hot summer day. You turn a corner and see something strange. A woman is dancing in the middle of the street, alone. No music, no celebration, just dancing. Her name is Frau Troffea. You watch her for a moment, then continue walking. Probably drunk, probably celebrating something private. But the next day, she is still there, still dancing. You watch more carefully now. She is not celebrating. Her face is twisted in pain. Her feet are bleeding. She collapses from exhaustion. People try to help her. She pushes them away. As soon as she catches her breath, she starts dancing again, non-stop, for 6 days straight. Then something even stranger happens. Other people start dancing. A man joins her, then a woman, then more. Within a week, 34 people are dancing in the streets. They cannot stop. They do not want to dance. They are terrified, but their bodies will not obey. They dance until they collapse. Then they get up and dance again. Their feet bleed through their shoes. Some have heart attacks. Some have strokes. Some die. City authorities panic. Doctors are called. No one has ever seen anything like this. The diagnosis? Hot blood. They believe the dancers have overheated blood that can only be cooled by dancing. The cure? More dancing. The city hires musicians, builds a wooden stage, brings in professional dancers to encourage the afflicted. Let them dance it out, the doctors say. It does not work. More people join. By August, 400 people are dancing in the streets of Strasbourg, day and night, non-stop. Some dance for weeks. The death toll rises. Historians estimate 15 to 50 deaths, though some sources suggest more. And then, as mysteriously as it started, it stops. The dancers collapse one final time. They do not get back up. The epidemic is over. This is not fiction. This happened. July to September 1518, Strasbourg. 400 people danced uncontrollably for weeks. Many died. And here's what will disturb you. No one knows why. Over 500 years later, we still do not have a definitive explanation. Was it poison? Mass hysteria? Religious ecstasy? A neurological disease? Something else entirely? Welcome to If History Repeats. Today, we go back to Strasbourg, 1518, to one of history's strangest and most disturbing medical mysteries. 400 people dancing until their bodies gave out. And then we ask, could this happen today? In the age of viral challenges, social media contagion, and mass psychogenic illness, are we more vulnerable than ever? Let's begin. Strasbourg in 1518 was a city under stress. Part of the Holy Roman Empire, it was dealing with famine, disease, and poverty. The previous years had seen failed harvests. Food was scarce. Plague outbreaks were common. The population was malnourished, exhausted, and terrified of divine punishment. This context matters. In July, Frau Troffea began dancing, alone, in the street. Witnesses described her as dancing wildly, without music, unable to stop. Within days, others joined. By the end of July, dozens were dancing. City records document this. Physician notes describe the symptoms. This was not folklore. It was real. The medical establishment was baffled. Medieval doctors believed in the theory of humors, that illness resulted from imbalances in bodily fluids. They diagnosed the dancers with hot blood caused by overheating. Their prescription: let them dance until the heat left their bodies. The city council agreed. They hired musicians, built stages, and even paid professional dancers to encourage the afflicted. They believed dancing would cure them. It made things worse. More people joined. The dancing spread like an infection. Witnesses described victims begging for help, screaming that they could not stop. Their feet bled, their legs gave out. They collapsed repeatedly, but as soon as they recovered, they danced again. Some died from heart attacks, some from strokes, some from sheer exhaustion. The authorities tried other solutions. Priests held religious ceremonies. They marched the dancers to a shrine dedicated to Saint Vitus, a saint associated with dancing afflictions. They prayed for divine intervention. Nothing worked. The dancing continued. Then, in early September, it stopped. As suddenly as it began, the compulsion vanished. The dancers collapsed. This time, they did not get back up. The epidemic was over. The survivors were traumatized. The dead were buried, and Strasbourg tried to forget. But the dancing plague of 1518 was not unique. Similar outbreaks had occurred before. In 1374, a dancing mania swept through Aachen, Germany. Thousands danced through the streets. it spread to other towns. The pattern was always the same: sudden onset, uncontrollable dancing, exhaustion, death, all during periods of social stress, famine, plague, war. Italy had tarantism. People believed that being bitten by a tarantula caused uncontrollable dancing. The cure? Dance until the poison left your body. Entire communities would dance for days. Was it real spider venom or mass psychogenic illness disguised as medical treatment? Historians debate. The theories trying to explain the 1518 outbreak fall into a few categories. First, ergot poisoning. Ergot is a fungus that grows on rye and wet, cold conditions. It contains compounds chemically similar to LSD. Consuming ergot-contaminated bread can cause convulsions, hallucinations, and muscle spasms. The weather in 1518 was wet, harvests were poor. Ergot contamination was possible. But there are problems with this theory. Ergot poisoning typically causes contraction and rigidity, not rhythmic, sustained dancing. And why would it only affect certain people? Why would it last for weeks? The ergot theory does not fully explain the dancing plague. Second theory, mass psychogenic illness, also called mass hysteria. This is a psychological phenomenon where stress and anxiety manifest as physical symptoms that spread through a group. It happens in communities under extreme stress. Symptoms can include fainting, seizures, tics, paralysis, and yes, uncontrollable movement. Strasbourg in 1518 fits the profile. The city was suffering from famine, disease, and fear of divine punishment. The population was primed for a psychological epidemic. One person starts dancing, perhaps as a stress response or breakdown. Others see it. In their own stress state, their minds unconsciously mimic the behavior. The dancing spreads, not because of poison or disease, but because of social contagion. This theory is supported by similar modern cases. In 1962, Tanzania, a laughing epidemic broke out in a girls' school. It started with 3 girls laughing uncontrollably. Within days, 95 students were affected. The school closed. The girls went home and spread it to their villages. Over 1,000 people were affected. It lasted 18 months. Doctors found no physical cause. It was mass psychogenic illness. But some historians are not satisfied with the mass hysteria explanation for 1518. They argue that the dancers showed genuine distress. They were not hysterical. They were suffering. Some suggest an unknown neurological disease. Others propose deliberate poisoning. But there is no evidence for either. The truth is, we do not know. The dancing plague of 1518 remains one of history's great medical mysteries. The records are incomplete. The science of the time was primitive. We can theorize, but we cannot prove. And that uncertainty is what makes it so disturbing.
So here is the question. Could the dancing plague happen today? Could a modern population experience mass, uncontrollable movement? Could social contagion spread a physical symptom through hundreds of people? Yes, because it already does. Leroy, New York, 2011. A high school. Suddenly, teenage girls start developing tics, facial twitches, verbal outbursts, uncontrollable movements. One girl, then 3, then 12, then 18. Doctors run tests, MRIs, blood work, toxicology. Nothing. No physical cause. The media descends. Parents demand answers. Environmental activists test for contamination. Still nothing. Finally, doctors diagnose it. Mass psychogenic illness. The girls are not faking. Their symptoms are real. But the cause is psychological, not physical. Stress, anxiety, social pressure, and crucially, social contagion. Seeing others with symptoms triggered the same symptoms in their own bodies. The diagnosis was controversial. Parents rejected it. But over time, as media attention faded and students were separated, the symptoms disappeared. This is not rare. Mass psychogenic illness outbreaks happen regularly. Schools, factories, communities. The triggers are always the same. High stress, close social groups, exposure to others with symptoms. And now we have a new vector, social media. Viral challenges spread faster than ever. Tide Pod Challenge, Benadryl Challenge, Skullbreaker Challenge. These are not mass psychogenic illness, they are deliberate imitation, but they show how quickly behavior spreads through social networks. Now imagine that same mechanism applied to involuntary symptoms. Some researchers believe social media can transmit psychogenic symptoms. You watch a video of someone with tics. Your anxious brain, primed by stress, mimics it. You develop tics. You post a video. Others watch. The cycle continues. Havana syndrome is another modern mystery. Diplomats and intelligence officers reporting headaches, dizziness, cognitive issues, hundreds of cases. No definitive physical cause found. Some scientists believe it is mass psychogenic illness spreading through a stressed, isolated community. Others argue it must be a weapon or environmental factor. The debate continues. Just like the dancing plague, we do not have answers. The pattern is clear. Humans are vulnerable to social contagion. especially in times of stress. Whether chemical, psychological, or something else, our brains can produce physical symptoms that spread through groups. The dancing plague of 1518 was not an isolated anomaly. It was an extreme example of something that still happens today. If you made it this far, thank you. In 1518, 400 people danced uncontrollably in the streets of Strasbourg. Many died. Doctors tried to cure them by encouraging more dancing. It failed. 500 years later, we still do not know what caused it. Ergot poisoning, mass hysteria, something else? The mystery remains. But what we do know is this: social contagion is real. Stress can manifest as physical symptoms, and in the age of social media, we may be more vulnerable than ever. Share this with someone who refuses to look away. Subscribe if you have not. Every episode of History Repeats asks, what if it happened again? Next episode, Minamata, Japan, 1956. A young girl begins showing strange symptoms. She cannot walk straight, her speech is slurred, she has violent convulsions. Then her sister develops the same symptoms, then neighbors, then dozens of people in the fishing village. Doctors are baffled. Then they discover the cause: mercury. A chemical company, Chisso Corporation, has been dumping mercury waste into Minamata Bay for years. The fish are contaminated. The people who eat the fish are poisoned. Thousands are affected. Children are born with severe brain damage. The company knows. They have known for years. They covered it up, continued dumping, prioritized profit over human lives. And when the truth comes out, they deny responsibility and pay minimal compensation. The poison that a company knowingly released, the lives destroyed, and the pattern that continues today in Flint, Michigan, and communities around the world. I am History Repeats, and history always has something to say.